The night shift at Frosty Delights, a quaint ice cream parlor that stood at the edge of town, seemed like an easy gig to help pay my bills. Little did I know that the sweet swirls of ice cream would soon give way to a chilling tale that would forever haunt my nights. I stepped into the parlor, the bell above the door tinkling softly as I entered. The air was thick with the delicious scent of freshly churned ice cream, and the soft glow of the pastel-colored lights gave the place a warm, welcoming ambience. My supervisor, Mr. Wallace, greeted me with a weary smile and a nod towards the counter. "The night's all yours. Just keep an eye on the machines and make sure everything's clean," he said before heading out the door. Alone in the parlor, I got to work wiping down counters, restocking toppings, and occasionally serving the rare customer who wandered in for a late-night treat. Hours passed in a quiet routine, broken only by the sound of the ice cream machines churning away and the distant hum of the refrigerator. As the clock approached midnight, a chill seemed to settle in the air, despite the warmth of the ice cream machines. I shivered, chalking it up to the overactive air conditioning, but as I glanced around, I noticed that the lights were flickering, casting unsettling shadows that danced along the walls. Brushing off the unease, I continued my tasks, trying to distract myself by focusing on the cheerful pastel decor. Then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw movement near the back of the parlor. I turned my head quickly, but there was nothing there. A nervous chuckle escaped my lips as I realized how on edge I had become. It must have been my imagination, playing tricks in the dim light. But then I heard it. A soft, almost melodic whisper. It was so faint that I could hardly make out the words, but it sounded like someone calling my name. I spun around, my heart racing, only to find the parlor empty. My eyes scanned every nook and cranny, searching for the source of the sound, but there was nothing. As I turned back to the counter, I froze. The ice cream machines were still churning, but the flavors had changed. The vibrant colors of vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry had given way to hues of deep purple and midnight blue. My confusion turned to unease as I realized that the flavors were no longer listed on the machine, replaced by cryptic names like Frozen Echoes and Whispering Shadows. I felt a presence behind me, a sensation of someone watching, and slowly turned around. My heart caught in my throat as I saw a figure standing by the entrance. A girl, no older than 16, with long, pale hair and eyes that seemed to hold a haunting sadness. She wore a tattered dress that swayed gently, as if moved by an invisible breeze. Her gaze bore into mine, and a cold shiver ran down my spine. "Help me," she whispered, her voice a fragile echo in the air. "Please, help me." I couldn't move, couldn't tear my eyes away from her. There was a sorrow in her gaze that struck a chord deep within me, an overwhelming urge to understand and assist. But before I could react, she faded away like mist, leaving only the faintest trace of her presence. I stumbled back, my mind racing to comprehend what I had just witnessed. Was it a trick of the light, a product of exhaustion? The clock on the wall seemed to tick louder, each second echoing in the silence. I needed to get out of there, to escape the unsettling atmosphere that had taken hold of the parlor. I rushed to the door, fumbling with the lock, and finally burst out onto the empty street. The cool night air was a welcome relief, dispelling the residual unease that clung to me. As I caught my breath, I noticed an old woman sitting on a bench across the street. Her eyes were fixed on me, and as I met her gaze, a chill swept over me. "You've seen her, haven't you?" the woman asked, her voice carrying a weight of years long past. I hesitated, unsure of what to say. Who are you talking about?" The woman's lips curved into a sad smile. "The girl from the parlor. She's been trapped there for decades, her spirit unable to move on." I felt a knot of dread forming in my stomach. "Trapped? How?" The woman's eyes seemed to penetrate my very soul. "It's a story of a tragic accident, a fire that consumed the parlor years ago. The girl, Lily, was a worker there. She perished in the flames, but her spirit remained, tied to the place she loved." My mind raced, piecing together the fragments of the story and the eerie encounters I had experienced. The flavors, the whispers, the frozen echoes. It all made sense now. The old woman rose from the bench, her gaze still fixed on me. "You can help her find peace. You can release her from her icy prison." A shiver ran down my spine as I stared at the parlor's entrance, the pastel lights now casting an otherworldly glow. I knew what I had to do. I returned to Frosty Delights, the memories of Lily's sad eyes and the cryptic flavors still fresh in my mind. With a deep breath, I approached the counter and whispered, "Lily, if you're here, show me a sign." And then, as if in response, the ice cream machines began to churn, the flavors shifting back to their familiar vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry. A soft melodic hum filled the air, carrying with it a sense of bittersweet longing. Lily's figure appeared before me, her eyes no longer haunted but filled with gratitude. With a final faint whisper, she mouthed the words, "Thank you," before fading away into the night. The air felt lighter, the atmosphere no longer suffocating. As I left the parlor that night, I couldn't help but think that Lily had finally found the release she had been seeking for so long, a release from the frozen whispers of the night.